the Hillsborough River, Lettuce Lake Spring, Lithia Springs. All these places, drop-dead gorgeous, all right here in Hillsborough County.
All part of the huge Floridan aquifer, that underground ocean of water right beneath our feet.
How big is the Floridan aquifer system? So big it reaches into 3 other states and contains more than 1 quadrillion gallons of fresh water. That's right, I said 1 quadrillion with a Q. I'm talking big. How big? It's so big, of the 18 million Florida residents, almost all of them depend on the Floridan aquifer. Now, multiply that by businesses and homes, and you've got a big number. And that doesn't even include Georgia. We Floridians have been drinking up, swimming in, boating on, and working with this water since the first Floridian got thirsty. Nature endowed us with what by all rights should be an unlimited supply of fresh water. But somehow we've managed to use up a lot. So much that we've created big problems for ourselves. But as they say, for every problem there's a solution. Thanks to cooperation, innovation, and sheer dedication, Hillsborough County has come up with a bright idea.
We call it Hillsborough Water Works. Today, tomorrow, together.
It goes without saying that people need water, but we said it anyway. People also need a clean, healthy environment. Our cavalier attitude about our water resources has taught us some lessons the hard way. We simply can't keep taking limitless amounts of water from the ground.
Alternative water supplies are really an interesting definition around the state. What hasn't traditionally been used in the area that you're staying in. Because in some areas of the state, down in South Florida, traditional use has been surface water. So in a little way, some groundwater, especially reverse osmosis of salt water, is an alternative water supply. In our area, where way over 90% of the water was used for groundwater until very recently for potable supply, surface water and, of course, desalination of seawater are alternative supplies. So an alternative supply really means a use that hasn't been used very often in that area. Hopefully that means there hasn't been an environmental impact since it hasn't been used. And then it's also looking at treating water in a different way and being able to bring it online in such a way that there isn't an environmental impact and that the cost is feasible with all the opportunities for additional funding.
Which is what drove us to think outside the well field in looking for new sources of fresh water. For starters, someone noticed we're sitting right next to a fairly large puddle of salt water. And so we built a desalination plant that converts salt water to drinking water. When the Hillsborough and Alafia rivers are running high and fast, we siphon off the excess and store it in our sprawling new reservoir where we hold it for a not-so-rainy day, or week, or season, otherwise known as a drought.
What do you do to conserve water?
I just usually take shorter showers than I used to take.
I water my lawn on the right days.
Instead of watering my plants with tap water or water that I came from the sink, I usually use recycled rainwater that I collect.
In Hillsborough County, we love a good-looking body. Of water, that is. Rivers, lakes, springs, wetlands, even a great big bay. This is a beautiful place. Usually. But with droughts we can't predict, these bodies lose their shape, size, their allure. This is what a drought looks like. No, it's not so pretty. Not pretty at all. Yes, we are talking about water conservation. Again. Hey out there, we saw you roll your eyes. You're sick of hearing about water problems and drought, aren't you? You think we're not? Yet every few years, we find ourselves using more water than nature provides. Not all droughts are created equally. Some are worse than others. On a scale of 1 to 10, some droughts can be, about an 11. Fortunately, a lot of Hillsborough residents and businesses get it and are doing something about it. Thanks to people, programs, and planning, Hillsborough County now saves an average of 32 million gallons of water every day. Over the last 20 years, Hillsborough County Water Resource Services has implemented conservation and reclaimed water programs that have saved almost 12 billion gallons of water every year, and that doesn't include leap year. Do you have any idea how much water we're saving? Let's put it this way. We're saving enough to fill every swimming pool in Hillsborough County, all 65,000 of them, 10 times a year. Good job, Hillsborough. Well done. But there's another shoe to drop. Or, since we're in Florida, maybe a sandal. Because even though we've done a great job using less than we used to, we can do better. When it comes to saving water, we gotta do better. West Central Florida has suffered through some terrible droughts. People have chipped in and helped us save more water than ever before, but at the same time, we're still using more than ever before. Stay tuned. We'll explain that in a moment. Some droughts are so bad, we begin to get concerned about whether we have enough water for home use. We're talking worries about bathing and cooking, flushing and brushing. Here's why. In a normal year, we expect 52 inches of rain. Some droughts have been so bad for so long that they left us nearly 1, 2, even 3 feet short of normal rainfall. That might not sound so bad until you consider those inches of rain we didn't get. For example, a 30-inch rainfall deficit, that's 2.5 feet, would have dumped 500 billion gallons of additional water on Hillsborough County alone. Yes, billion. That's enough to fill up almost every private swimming pool in the entire US of A 6 times a year. And if you don't have a swimming pool, think of it this way. It's the equivalent of a quarter of all the water in Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes.